It's just that simple. This is going to be quite the hot take. I believe Bloodborne's combat system is better than the one in Elden Ring and the Dark Souls series. Fight me, I'm not taking questions, and just because the Dark Souls community wants to act like a bunch of babies doesn't mean I have to talk to you like one. If you're wondering why I'm being so hostile, it's because of the fact that if you say anything even that could be misconstrued as negative against the Dark Souls series, you will be attacked by a mob of people who look like this. And don't get me wrong, half of Dark Souls 1 is pretty good. I just want to fight you. You specifically. The first and arguably the biggest thing for me is trick weapons. The reason I have a harder time playing the Souls games and Elden Ring is because I feel like they smother you in boring weapons, especially at the start. I hate playing those games with a little like basic sword number 400. And I know there are cool weapons in Elden Ring, but to get to one, you either have to stumble upon it somewhere in the woods stuck between a nondescript rock and a tree, or you have to watch a incredibly frustrating 15-minute YouTube video of somebody finding it and sounding like this.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry if I sound weird right now. It's just that I have a cold, and also that's the reason why I haven't been uploading as much, but I'm going to try to stick to an upload schedule starting this Monday, but I'm not sure about it yet. Also, I'm streaming on Twitch, and basically to get the sword, all you need to do is go out and find the sword and pick it up, and then you'll have it. I'll show you guys exactly where it is on part 2. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, because 99% of my viewers aren't subscribed.
Which is different from Bloodborne, because in that game, to get a cool weapon, all you have to do is just kind of take it, they give it to you. Within like 5 minutes of playing Bloodborne, you'll have like a weapon cooler than 95% of the shit you'll find in Elden Ring. In Bloodborne, they're called trick weapons. The reason they're called trick weapons, I'm about to fall, is because each weapon has 2 unique forms. For example, your little sword can turn into a big ass hammer, and your little ass axe can turn into a moderately bigger axe. Every day is an adventure in Bloodborne. Whereas in Elden Ring, all you can do is go from holding a sword with 1 hand to holding it with 2 hands. You can also dual wield in Elden Ring, which is the best mechanic that I've found in Elden Ring. If you want to run around with 2 big ass shields and just be shield man, you can do shit like that. But you can't hold a sword with both hands if you have a shield in the other, which brings me to shields. I'm good at segues. Before we jump into shields, the observant of you might have noticed that I've changed clothes 3 times during this episode. If you noticed before I said something, leave a comment in the comment section, and then it'll just be there. Sometimes when I'm staring at my bedroom ceiling and yet another sleepless night in a long history of sleepless nights, the thought piercing my brain like the cold steel of a merciful bullet is, what in the goddamn is the point of f***ing shields? I have to be wrong about this. There's no way that FromSoft has put shields in the game for like 5 games in a row, but I honest to fucking God don't understand. If you're trying to avoid taking damage, why would you ever use your shield instead of rolling? Not only do you still take a fair amount of damage from a big attack if you use your shield, but it also eats your stamina in the same way that rolling does, if not more. On top of that, you're setting yourself up for getting the shit staggered out of you if a boss hits you with a couple big boy hits and your shield's up and you're not rolling. Nobody I've talked to agrees with me on this point and a lot of other points that I've made in my life, but I firmly believe that there isn't a singular reason to use a shield over just invincibly rolling out of the fucking way. Instead of taking damage to your health, your stamina, and your poise, you can just roll, and by rolling, you'll have essentially your body, roll it somewhere else. If your argument is that shields should be used for parrying in Elden Ring, my argument is that Bloodborne and Sekiro did it better. Sekiro. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sekiro. In Bloodborne, instead of shields, they replace your shields with a big ass gun. If you're anything like me, you just got an erection. With the gun, you can stagger an enemy if you shoot them right before an attack to parry it and go for a critical hit. In Sekiro, you just do that with your sword and it turns into this like rhythm game of dance fighting with your opponent. Both of these systems are better than the ones in Elden Rings and Dark Souls. Thank you for coming. Elden Souls, the combat system is very formulaic. You go into an encounter and your health bar is like a measurement system for how many times you can make a mistake and get hit by the enemy. The more mistakes you make, the more your health bar gets drained, but you have flasks to increase the amount of mistakes that you're able to make per encounter. It's a game of making as few mistakes as humanly possible and capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes. I am bored. In Bloodborne, if your opponent slaps the shit out of you, you can reach inside their chest and pull their beating heart out of their shattered rib cage and get half your health back for doing it. There's a mechanic in Bloodborne where if you get hit by your opponent, you can hit them back during a small time window and get like 75% of your health back. This small little change completely breaks the Elden Souls formula by forcing you to have to weigh your options between every single hit that you take. Do you sit back and play passive at the expense of your health bar if you get hit? Or do you rush back in to get your health back, risking even more health by doing so? Basically, in Bloodborne, you have 2 or 3 ways to get dicked on, whereas in Elden Ring, you basically only have 1. Now, I guess it's time that we get to the point in the video where I just bitch about the parts of Elden Ring that made me a little angry. It's hard to bitch about these games because, I mean, the whole point of it is to be fucking frustrating, and if you start bitching about it, it's like that is the point. But there are some things that are genuinely not good in Elden Ring, and I'm gonna bitch about them. You can't dislike the video, so fucking eat a dick. This is Mikolash. Mikolash is a pussy. What Mikolash lacks in being a fun or interesting boss battle, he makes up for by having infuriatingly bullshit magic attacks. Now, Mikolash he's not actually a magical figure in the Bloodborne lore, but the developers did want to give him something to go with his ethereal way of being, so they gave him magically busted hitboxes. Sometimes his squid hentai attack will hit you, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it will not hurt you at all, sometimes it'll one-shot your ass. Worst part about him, and to keep this in mind always, is that he is a f***ing pussy. But the good news is, there is only one Mikolash in Bloodborne. There are some other like little magic-y users a little bit in Bloodborne, but for the most part, they have like clear, understandable, and reliably dodgeable attacks if you know what you're doing. In Elden Ring, they dedicated the last half of the game to Mikolash. Just a warning, there will be more spoilers than that sick-ass car from the movie Cars from this point on, so quit watching unless you're cool. Elden Ring, the last part of Elden Ring, it ends in the most frustrating boss rush imaginable. You have 4 back-to-back, 4 of the worst boss fights I have ever fought in any video game, and I played Sonic Adventure Battle 2. See this guy? This piece of shit right here? Get this, he's a f***ing pussy. Squared. His name is Gideon. He starts out being your buddy and then he tries to fight you like your drunk stepdad on New Year's. The only difference between him and your stepdad is your stepdad has a understandable hitbox and doesn't spam magic moves like a unbelievable f***ing pussy. The Dark Souls community roast people like him for using his moveset online. And I totally agree. These people should be bullied. I can't say the sentence I was about to say. Basically, this is just one of the only times that I'll offer an olive branch out to the Dark Souls community. If you fellas want to help me bully these people off the game, I'll be with you in the front lines, and because hopefully by now I've been talking for long enough for you to see this stupid ass fucking bullshit that's going on in the background. I'm really only mad at Gideon because he made me do this. Do you think I like doing this? After Gideon, you go on to fight the Elden Lord or something or other, I can't remember his name, and he wasn't really that bad.
How do you dodge it? How do you fucking dodge it? How do you fucking goddamn fucking... Oh my fucking god.
And then after you beat him, you fight Radon.
Of course! Fucking god! Fuck!
Then you have to fight the Elden Beast right after Radahn, and if you die to the Elden Beast, you have to fight Radahn again to get back to the Elden Beast. I don't have any clips of me raging my ass off at this one because I got hit with this move and yanked the power cord out of my PC. The only way I would ever willingly fight this snot bubble is if they let me use the horse. Doesn't it look like you can just use the horse in this battle? You can't. And why is that, you ask?
Because they're stupid.
I feel like I'm running out of time that I can bitch and people will actually listen. So in summary, for this show of a video, Bloodborne's combat system is faster, more complex, has less magic, and they give you a gun. My name is Mouse. I have the correct opinion, but you know what I don't have? An outro.